Breaking news on 41 Action News starts right now.
On the air at 10 with breaking news, Evergy on standby for another round of rolling power outages as the cold weather puts stress on the system.
If you still have power right now, you're at risk of losing it for 30 to 90 minutes, most likely between midnight and 11 a.m. tomorrow. 41 Action News anchor Knute is joining us with the details. Caitlin?
Well, Kevin and Dia, just within the past hour, Evergy started sending out emails and text alerts, warning customers to be prepared for more outages. And just in the past few minutes, they actually tweeted out that additional outages are a strong possibility. Again, this is all because of the strain on the regional power grid, with local providers being told to shut off power temporarily to help conserve energy for other parts of the Southwest power pool, which does span 17 states, including hard-hit Texas. So we saw those rolling outages earlier this morning, mostly between 7 and 10 a.m. They were supposed to be no longer than an hour and a half max. Unfortunately, some customers tell us they were without power for hours. Evergy says that could be due to other issues, and they were trying to get folks back online. Evergy also explained that when the Southwest Power Pool tells them they need to initiate these shutoffs, they're given very little notice and have to act quickly. They say that's why you are not notified before your electricity goes out. So take a look at this. Here's a graphic that shows companies can be asked to shut off power when the Southwest Power Pool is at level 3. That's what happened this morning. Later today, we dropped back down to level 1. Then as people returned home from work this evening and started using more electricity amid falling temperatures, we bumped back up to level 2. That's what prompted warnings that additional outages were possible overnight.
Again, the whole point here is to maintain grid stability and to make sure we avoid much bigger, much longer, and prolonged outages.
Meanwhile, with so many people being affected by these outages, Evergy said it saw 6 times the number of calls and web traffic it typically sees, more than they've ever seen before in that company's history. To prevent more of these outages, energy companies are asking people to conserve power whenever possible. That includes simple things such as turning down the thermostat a bit, turning off lights, and refraining from using major appliances such as the washer and dryer. Dia?
Caitlin, thank you so much for all that information. Right now, here's a look at the number of people without power. Roughly 800 customers at the moment. This number is down from earlier today when Evergy reported 270,000 people were without power. Not all of those customers were impacted at the same time, though. They were spaced out between 7 and 10 a.m., with the goal being those short outages of 30 to 90 minutes. But for some, the outages lasted a lot longer than that. Before you go to bed tonight, here are some things Evergy says you can do to prepare in case you experience a rolling blackout overnight. Make sure your phones, tablets, and other devices are charged. Put an emergency kit on hand with blankets, warm layers of clothes, flashlights, even batteries.
We're joined now by Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas as his team prepares for the city to undergo more outages. Mayor, thanks for joining us tonight. We are undergoing one of the coldest stretches in recent memory. What's your #1 message to the residents here in Kansas City?
Well, it's to heed all the advice right now that we're hearing. Make sure that you are ready in the event of an outage. It is unfortunate that they may start at midnight and run through 11 a.m. in the morning, so that means having extra blankets at the ready, even when you're getting ready to go to sleep, is going to be key. The other thing is to make sure that you call or contact either relatives or others to make sure they're safe through the night, and we certainly always worry about our unhoused population, making sure they know about opportunities at Bartle Hall in Kansas City where you can stay warm, but really making sure people are safe is the most important thing we can do right now.
Mayor, we received so many phone calls from viewers, many of them concerned about their elderly parents or people who have breathing devices. In fact, I saw you tweeted about a half hour ago, we'll address those problems, but for now, help us remain safe. How can the city address these problems? What is the city doing in the short term and in the long term?
So short term, we are communicating pretty much nonstop at this point with Evergy. We understand much of this is out of their control with SPP, the Southwest Power Pool, actually making these determinations, but we have got to make sure that we get some answer. Right now, it feels like we're a little bit, shall I say, listless in terms of knowing when we will be out of the woods with this. It's going to be cold for a few more days, so we hope the weather makes a turn, but at the same time, we really hope that they get their handle on what's going on with our power grid nationwide here sooner. In the short term, we will make sure that we message about conserving energy usage. At City Hall, we've turned off more lights. We've turned off more lights at facilities. We're trying to reduce our power, and we hope that everybody in the region does the same.
All right, energy conservation. In the meantime, many warming centers, including Bartle Hall. Mayor Quinton Lucas, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you.
All this as another round of snow inches closer to the metro tonight.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Lezak tracking it all for us. Gary.
Hey, Dia, we're hearing about the power outages and the potential for another cold night. Look at these temperatures right now. It's a concern because it's 1 degree in Olathe. It is 0 in Lawrence, 2 at KCI. Now, the good news is when snow moves in, these clouds about to move overhead, they're going to act like a little blanket, and temperatures are going to come up a little bit. I'm expecting that 2 to be 6 by 6 in the morning. So it's going to go up as the snow moves in. And here is the snow approaching our area from the southwest. You can see it's growing and heading right towards Knute and Iola. Still a few hours from Kansas City. I've got it timed out now about 3 or 4 in the morning moving in. So how much snow? We'll look at the latest snowfall accumulation forecast and some warmer weather in our 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Gary, between the possible outages and the snow, some school districts are calling off classes entirely, both in person and virtual learning. The schools are running on the bottom of your screen right now. You can also find a detailed list at KSHB.com.
While some people spent hours without power, others had to manage without water thanks to frozen pipes.
New at 10, 41 Action News reporter Eric Rothfield explains why more frozen pipes calls are likely in the coming days.
With bone-chilling temperatures, Malcolm Gooscott expected to be busy.
What I found is this cast iron water main was frozen.
But not this busy.
So there must be a pipe in the wall that might be broke.
The master plumber has been traveling from one home to another, fixing frozen water pipes.
And there's a couple of spots where it's not quite thawed out yet. There's just trickles coming through.
Like this one in Anthony Jackson's home.
There we go.
It's been pretty tough. It's we started with a leak in the washroom, and so we turned the water off, and from there, all the pipes just froze within the first day.
Jackson tried to fight the cold, making sure any openings were closed and that his crawl space was insulated.
While I was down there trying to heat the crawl space up, it wasn't enough, and that's just tells you how serious this situation and this cold is.
But even with warmer temperatures on the horizon, Gooscott warns homeowners are not in the clear. They could experience their water pipes bursting.
When they go up, sometimes it'll defrost on its own, so you think, oh, I'm all clear and dry here. But it's going to freeze up again.
Which is why he suggests exactly what Jackson says he's going to do.
Leave our sinks open a little bit and keep the water flowing.
And hope for no more bitterly cold temperatures this year.
It's cold. It's freezing temperatures. Without this don't happen.
Reporting in Kansas City, Ariel Rothfield, 41 Action News.
You know, as some families worried about the heating bill, Missouri announces improving its program to help families facing disconnection. Normally, the Energy Crisis Intervention Program helps pay the minimum amount needed to keep a family's heat from being disconnected. Now it will pay the maximum disconnect amount up to $800. To qualify, you must be responsible for the home's heating cost. You must have less than $3,000 in your bank account and be a U.S. citizen. You can find a link to the program at kshb.com/weblinks.
And it couldn't come at a better time either. There's concern that some homeowners could see a spike in their heating bills. The rolling outages spurred a surge in natural gas prices, reaching as high as 200 times the usual amount. Some good news, though. The Kansas Corporation Commission already working to mitigate that issue. That commission instructed utility companies in the state to defer any extraordinary costs connected to this emergency weather event. It's still too early to tell what your next bill might look like, but when weather improves, companies will report back with a plan to smooth out the financial impact on customers.
There's a lot that will be developing overnight, from possible power outages to the snow. You can tune in tomorrow morning to get the latest forecast and the updates. 41 Action News today starts at 4:30.
One person is in custody tonight after shooting and injuring a person right outside the University of Kansas Hospital. It happened just before 8 p.m. outside the hospital's entrance on Cambridge Street. Officers arrested the shooter within an hour. The victim is in the hospital tonight. Also developing tonight, a vehicle crashes over an embankment, landing on its side. Take a look. This all happened this evening near Highland and 45th in Kansas City. We're still working to learn more about any injuries, what happened here. We'll keep you updated.
The severe winter weather delaying vaccine shipments from major distribution hubs in Memphis and Louisville. These facilities are responsible for getting vaccines to many states. And today, Dr. Lee Norman in Kansas confirmed that Kansas is expecting a 2-day delay.
This deep cold is delaying the federal government in shipping some of our vaccine to us this week. Mostly it's stuck with FedEx and I think upstream from us. So there'll be a delay of the Monday, Tuesday vaccine probably won't arrive till Wednesday, Thursday. So we are dependent to a degree on Mother Nature.
Governors are calling on the Biden administration for better coordination on distributing vaccines.
And in response, today the president's team promised to streamline the process and improve it.
Increasing supply, vaccines, increasing vaccinators, the people who can put those vaccines in arms, and increasing vaccination locations so people know where to go.
The goal is to send 13.5 million vaccine doses a week to states, more than doubling the amount since Inauguration Day.
Another round of power outages could start in less than 2 hours. We're keeping an eye on the outage map as more snow heads this way.
It's 2 degrees right now, and here comes some snow marching our way. How much is going to fall, and a big warm-up. I'll let you know when, coming up in a few.
Thank you, Gary. Dozens of animals found out in the cold. The rescue's happening across the metro, and how you can help.
We just want to continue our journey of cleaning up this neighborhood.
One local man's efforts to beautify parts of the east side. Charlie Keegan gets a tour of the transformation so far. His mission for neighborhoods to rise above stereotypes. I'm looking forward to this one tomorrow morning on 41 Action News.
You're watching 41 Action News.
Several local groups working hard to help animals left out in this bitter cold.
41 Action News reporter Andres Gutierrez highlights their rescues, including one dog pulled from an icy pond.
This is the worst winter I've seen in this field of work. It's the kind of thing that makes you lose sleep at night.
During her waking hours, Ray Lindsay is making dozens of house calls and stops around the metro with the mission to protect animals from the extreme cold.
If they're going to be outside for any period of time during these temperatures, they need to have an insulation to their doghouse.
The straw, treats, and coat for Nectarine is part of the community outreach the Pet Resource Center of Kansas City, formerly known as Spay Neuter KC, have ramped up since the temperatures plunged. Sometimes it's heartbreaking work.
The ground's icing over. So these dogs have like problems with their paw beds kind of ripping open.
Similar groups like the Rescue Project are making sure other pets don't suffer the same consequences. Their 3 teams made 50 stops in the last week, handing out crates, igloos, and other resources to pet owners.
A lot of them are willing to take the help, and they appreciate it very much, especially with COVID. A lot of people are on hard times and appreciate that we're out there.
Veterinarians say the kind of breed you have doesn't matter in this bitter cold.
Usually the smaller, the lighter hair coat, the less cold tolerant that animal's going to be. Whereas, the bigger, the husky is the poster child. It can probably be out there longer, but usually not more than 5-10 minutes.
The Great Plains SPCA has taken in 20 dogs during this Arctic blast.
I don't think people are trying to be cruel. I think they just don't realize that, a wolf lives outside or a raccoon lives outside. It's not the same as a companion dog.
And advocates say if people see animals left out in the cold, they need to report it immediately with an address, and if possible, take pictures. In Kansas City, Andres Gutierrez, 41 Action News.
There's some other shelters in the metro working to get pets out of the cold right now. Here is a look at the numbers. KC Pet Project has taken in 100 animals since Friday. Wayside Waifs, 56. Independence Animal Services bringing in 23.
Here's Kansas City's most accurate forecast from Chief Meteorologist Gary Lezak.
If you're just joining us, it's no secret that it is bitterly cold out there. But our breaking news tonight is that more rolling blackouts could be happening tonight from midnight to 11 a.m.
Gary, all this comes as we're expecting snow overnight as well.
I know. Hopefully, if your power does go out, it's not for very long, because this will cause those temperatures to drop inside as well. 2 degrees right now, 0 in Lawrence, 1 in Paola, 0 in Adrian, Missouri, 2 in Lee Summit, and 0 in Knob Noster. 3 below there in Cameron, 4 below in Bethany, and 2 below in Topeka. So it is another cold night. The good news, Clouds are about to move in, and snow is about to start, and that will warm things up a little bit, believe it or not. So a little bit of a warming trend tomorrow. Even with cloud cover, it might go all the way up to 20 degrees. The paw, there's frozen paws on the dogs. That's Sunny today, just a couple minutes out on the snow, and she was done. She lifted her paw, and we brought her in, but they posed for this great picture, Rainbow and Sunny. You can go see that on Facebook. Take a look at Weather Track Radar. Here's a large area of snow. It's really interesting. There's a little hole breaking up here, but there is snow moving across the Kansas-Oklahoma border, heading towards Knute right now. Still a few hours from Kansas City. It's moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. So it should be around Belton by 2:44 in the morning, Lawrence by 2:52. The first snowflakes in Overland Park maybe at 3:14, and to Blue Springs by 3:34, Raytown 3:25, and Kansas City by 3:40. Really between 2:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning, this area of snow will move in. It will not take much to cause a problem. A quarter inch or a half inch of snow is all it's going to take to cause a very slick and hazardous conditions out there again. 2 degrees right now. Any standing water has refrozen, so it is dangerous out there. The wind chill factor 12 below zero. Wind chill advisory continues to be in effect for these brutally cold wind chills and temperatures. Here's the storm from yesterday that produced the snow and the cold, and now here's the next storm spinning right there over the Texas Panhandle. It does seem to be taking a favorable track to give us a little bit of snow, but there's just not a lot of moisture available. So how much? Well, here it comes. This is our latest data showing the snow moving in between now and about 4 in the morning, and then the heaviest snow will be off towards Clinton and Sedalia, and it'll end from west to east. So again, how much snow? Take a look where you live, and you can see a dusting around Holton, a quarter of an inch around Atchison to St. Joe, and as we go into the Kansas City area, we can see here about 2 inches in Lee Summit to Lone Jack, Belton, south of Blue Springs, Buckner, Oric, Liberty, through the city. I'm expecting about 1 inch of snow. Could be a little more than that. If it's a little disorganized, it'll be a half inch, but somewhere between a half inch to 2 inches, and then Clinton, Sedalia, Warrensburg, you guys might get as much as 3 inches of snow. So again, not a big storm, but for this year, this is impacting, and I'm expecting that half inch to 2 inches of snow across the area. 6 degrees tomorrow morning. Yep, it's going to go up tonight to 10 degrees by 10, and even if there's no sunshine tomorrow, we may jump to 20. We have a little south breeze blowing at various levels of the atmosphere, and it's going to bring warmer air in here. So 20 degrees is warmer air. Very rarely would say that, but it's true. And then a little cold surge tomorrow, 1 to 2 inches possible, and maybe some light snow or flurries continuing at 2 and 6 o'clock in the evening. Here's the good news. I've got good news here. That's not great news. 1 below tomorrow night, 1 degree on Friday morning, but look at Monday, 49, Tuesday, 54 degrees. That's good news, but there's also a little chance of rain and snow on Sunday. All right, Mick Schaefer, do you have any good news?
Not really, come to think of it, because we got a court full of college basketball coming up next. A Sunflower Showdown without a ton of fans, without a ton of wins as well. And Mizzou, top 10 team in the first half of games, not even like top 100 in the second half of games. Could they change the trend tonight? Now, Mizzou with some rolling outages in second halves lately. In the game against Ole Miss, outscored by 16 in the second half, leading Arkansas at the half, outscored by 9 after halftime in that game. Both collapses led to losses last week. Tigers trying to change that trend at Georgia tonight, per usual. Things looking good in the first half. Parker Brown to Kobe Brown. Brown to Brown, just spelled differently. Just for the half, Drew Smith, Mizzou up by 4 after this 3 at the half. Second half, Xavier Pinson, Euro stepping to Mark Smith. Mizzou by 13. But buckle up. Georgia comes back. Pinson, turnover. Pinson, no transition D. We're all tied up. Later tied at 60. Entry pass 101 right there to Monty Kamara. Georgia with the lead. It's happening again. Bulldogs would run away with it. Katie Johnson steal and smush. 80-70. Mizzou lets another one go in the second half.
Outside of, man, you got to you got to stay strong. You got to finish the game, stay strong.
I mean, it's obviously an issue, but I don't really think there's anything like going on. I think we just got to stay locked in for a full 40 minutes and be ready to play down the stretch. You know, we got a lot of experienced guys.
All right, Sunflower Showdown tomorrow. Less showdown, more battle of attrition this season. KU trending for its lowest tourney seed this century. K-State hasn't won this calendar year. Mackenzie Nelson with a Sunflower preview.
Both teams have streaks going for themselves. One is just better than the other. The Jayhawks with 3 wins in 6 days, a short winning streak that pushed them back into the top 25. Going the opposite direction is the Wildcats, losing 12 in a row. No disrespect, though, coming from the two teams. Bill Self says he's impressed with K-State's youngest guys, and for Bruce Weber, it's KU's defense.
So they're probably a lot like some of the other good ones that's been in their program, whether it be Stokes or Brown or Wade or things like that. I'm sure they're hopeful they can become those type players.
They got some guys that are pretty strong and that can bump you off your cut, switch and deal with you. And, you know, that's my biggest fear is us finding ways to score.
Less than 24 hours from now, we find out which team's streak comes to an end. I'm Mackenzie Nelson, 41 Action News.
Mac, thank you so much. Royals pitchers and catchers are in Surprise, Arizona. First workout is tomorrow. We'll have video and reaction. The rest of the team arrives this weekend. First full squad is Sunday. Greatest thing ever tonight. Adam Sandler resurrected the Happy Gilmore golf swing today on Twitter. Here it is. Oh, he still got it. He still got it. Not only that, but Chris McDonald, the actor who played his nemesis, Shooter McGavin, responded by making a putt while staying in character to Adam Sandler. Good stuff right there. They should make a sequel or something like that. We're back with more after this.
We will be tracking snow in the morning. You can see it's marching our way right now. It's not a major snowstorm, but it's going to be enough to cause problems for the morning rush hour. It should arrive in Kansas City about 3:40 a.m. About a ½ inch to an inch of snow is what I'm expecting. It may produce as much as 2 inches, so we'll watch it closely.
All right. Great time to get our app, and 41 Action News today will get you up to speed.
Indeed. See you.